Hello City Life family, nice to be with you again. Just sharing a little thought that's been on my mind since we last spoke. Really feel God's been talking to me about just living with Him in the day and just taking one day at a time. And so I wrote this story called Manna, and I hope it will speak to you, and as it's speaking to me, about how we can receive that daily grace. And it's enough for every day, but it doesn't necessarily eke out for months ahead. We just need to come and gather it fresh every day. So here's a story called Manna. Rain had come to the desert, rain of another kind, falling while they were sleeping, the dreams of the night offering small comfort to their growing hunger. The joy at being slaves set free had become a distant memory as days became hard and long, and as their bellies grumbled, they'd lost their freedom song and felt their days were numbered. But now upon their awaking, with the coming of a new dawn, the dew before them disappeared, and a frosty, crystal-like enigma lay carpeting the floor. Manna? What is it? They were heard to exclaim, looking at the blanketed wilderness stretching out before them. It's bread from the heavens, angel food for all we know, given to sustain us and to lead us through these desolate desert times until the promised land we find. Their stomachs ached and rumbled as they reached out to taste the precious golden flakes that crumbled in their hands. Some said it tasted of coriander, warm, nutty, spicy, with a distinctly citrus note. Others said it tasted of honey, made from the sweet nectar of wild desert flowers. However differently it tasted to each and every one, as a people they agreed it surely satisfied. They crushed it into flour, then boiled it over fires, forming it into patties that may not seem like much, but as they were eaten, the taste upon the tongue was surely heaven's richness, a true gift of God. And what did manna teach God's people on their journey? It taught them God was faithful to keep them day by day. It showed them to depend on Him, to be their daily bread. It showed them not to self-preserve, no need for greed or hoarding. God knew what each one needed and faithfully supplied it. It showed them to obey Him and take Him at His word, to take the gift of rest with Him as well as the gift of work. It showed them how to live one day at a time, not worrying about the future, not needing to know what it held, instead trusting God to lead them. It's He who knew the way. He had planned their future, and His plans are always good, better for each one of them than theirs ever could be. Today it is much the same for the children of God, finding ourselves in the desert and not knowing for how long. No one knows the future. It's one day at a time, and God is the only one we can depend upon. He has come to rescue us from our hunger and thirst, and invites us to feast upon the sweetness of His Son. Jesus, the manna of life, will sustain and satisfy, and He showers grace upon us to be gathered fresh each day. He knows the future. He holds the plan. He will be faithful if we trust and obey. So let's not fear or grumble that He doesn't know what's best. He will provide for and protect us while bringing us to rest. And I'm just going to read a couple of verses from Psalm 78, 22 to 25. For they turned away from faith and walked away in fear. They failed to trust in His power to help them when He was near. Still He spoke on their behalf, and the skies opened up. The windows of heaven poured out food, the mercy bread, manna. The grain of grace fell from the clouds. Humans ate angels' food, the meal of the mighty ones. His grace gave them more than enough. Isn't that an amazing psalm? And God's grace is there for us every day, but it is to be fresh for us every day. Let's not try and take the grace of today and use it for 3 weeks' time, thinking that it'll still be okay, because it won't be. And I remember when we were having trials at Redbox, and we didn't know if the bank would foreclose on us. We didn't know if we'd have a business at the end of the day, didn't know if we'd be bankrupted and would lose our house. And we had to live literally for the day, trusting God that He'd called us into this business and He would pay the bills as they needed paying. And so we didn't have money in the bank for 3 weeks' time. We didn't have money in the bank for 1 week's time. We just had to live for the day, both at home with our daily bills and both as a business. And there were days when God provided miraculously for us. On the day the bank was going to foreclose, Clive went into work and I said, well, if he's in this, God will do something. And when we went to work, there was £14,000 promised through the door to help us over that next stage. And likewise, day by day in our home, our bills got met every day. There was not one bill that went unpaid, but we didn't have the money for it a week ahead. Sometimes it just came as we needed it. So grace is there for us and provision is there for us day by day. But let's go to God each day for it. Let's avail ourselves of grace every day so that we can be full of grace and full of faith that God will keep us and provide for us and protect us in these difficult times. And let's not worry. Let's just go and take our daily grace from him. Blessings on you, praying for you, hoping you're continuing to stay strong in God and in helping each other through the triplets, through helping your neighbours and friends where you can. I know it's making a difference. And although I miss seeing you, I know God is doing good things with all of us at this time. So blessings on you. Lots of love.